Sweating in the content mine. This is Tell Someone First question, of course, is from Mildly Terrible. Lately I've come across an issue. I don't know what kind of silly question to ask you. What are some questions I can ask you? Well, of course, I can't give you questions for you to ask me, but I can show you the kind of style of question that I personally get asked by other people, and I can critique those other questions. I just critique those other questions that other people ask me, as well as answering them for this episode and this episode only, except for when I need to critique the questions sometimes, and sometimes they suck. Let's see if any of them suck this week. Heavy Wasawas asked the second question for the day. What percentage of the universe is made of dark matter? Well, of course, well, I'm not a physicist, but I googled it. And it says that 69% nice is made of dark matter and dark energy, which is like dark matter is the stuff that we can't detect, but we know that's there because otherwise our maths doesn't work. Because we trace back the Big Bang and all of that sort of thing, and there's a lot of stuff that's just not accounted for because we can't see it and we can't detect it through, things like gravitational waves and stuff like that. Anyway, so 69% nice is made from like dark matter and dark energy, and 30% is just dark matter, and that leaves and like 5% is just the matter that we can see and detect at the moment right now. That's what's 5% of the universe is what we can see and detect that we know of. But for you, it's considerably less because you're just another human. So it's basically everything that you cannot see and hear and feel and touch and taste and whatever is just, it's all dark matter. So everything is basically dark matter as far as any of us is concerned. It's just what you can see and all of the other things. Even stuff inside your own head, if you don't have a headache or whatever, is dark. You can't see it, can't do it, you can't even detect it. Well, probably tell that it feels heavy sometimes. Next question, of course, from that was a good question. I mean, it was a serious question, and I could dig deep into it and try to drag out some sort of joke or some sort of like, I could drag some sort of observation or joke or something like that out of it. So that was a good question. That was a good question. Endochrome asked the next one. Does a squeaky nail get greased or get hammered down? See, this question is kind of one of those. It's a fumbled analogy because it's the squeaky squeaky wheel gets grease. But it gets replaced, really, these days. You don't need to, like, do any maintenance. You just get another one off Temu and it'll fall off, but it's okay, you can just get another one and another one. So, who has a hammer these days? I don't have a hammer. I've got pliers. I can pull the nail out, but then the thing's not nailed down and it'll fall off eventually. So I'm not qualified to answer this question because I didn't even know nails could squeak. Your floorboards and mice could squeak and you could hammer them down. The hammering will stop mice from squeaking, no problem. No problem at all, except for the mouse. That's dead. Next question, of course, is from Jonathan Stern. What's your favourite cheese-based dish? Pizza, mac and cheese, nachos, chicken parm, and any others I can think of. I can think of deep-fried cheese with cheese on top of cheese and covered in a crust of cheese, and then deep fried in more cheese, like fat rendered out of cheese and stuff. But I mean, it's not the perfect one, but it's cheese. It's cheese. It's cheese based. It's all cheese and all cheese all the time. This is why I'm so fat. See, this question gave me, a way of leveraging one of my catchphrases. This is why I'm so fat. I don't know whether people find it amusing or not, but this is about amusing myself more than anything else, because I'm not getting actual money from this. So I've got to amuse myself. Duck Whistle Sharama asks the next question for the day. Have you ever been a member of the Tufty Club? And if so, what made you decide to join? Well, I didn't decide to join it. My hair just grew that way and became awfully... Okay. I just had a look online and saw what the Tufty Club actually was, because I didn't get the reference, and I just barreled straight on through to find out what the Tufty Club actually was, because we didn't have it in Australia. It was a British thing. Apparently the Tufty Club was about preventing accidents, and as soon as I revealed myself to be unaware what the Tufty Club actually was, then I had an accident. This served as a setup for a joke involving me falling down a large hole or something. See? This is what's called, it's a setup. The whole joke served as a setup. Now, they might not have known it was a setup at the time. I was going to use it as a setup for me to have an accident falling down a hole. But it's what I did. See, that's how this question was a good question, because it was a setup for a joke that I could set off later on or immediately. This time it was immediately. Sometimes the setups are a setup for a joke that comes later on. Now, I don't think I have. I don't think I've actually got a setup and a punchline. I've just got one question that has its own setup for its own punchline. Next one is Matthew Labsley. Now that you've had a haircut and look 363,653,748 years younger, are you going to get a hot Tinder date now? Will there be a Mrs. Dangerously Talented, and will she have a glorious moustache also? Well, of course, no, there is. I have met like a couple of women on Tinder, but they wanted to charge me money, and there's another app on my iPad which doesn't, where I can meet more women, but they don't ask me for money. It's called Pokemon Go, and it's not like that. It's not like that. It's not about poking. It's about little pocket monsters, and you can catch them, and then you can swap them. And I've been swapping quite a few Pokemons lately. I swapped a couple of Chanseys and a Stuffle. I'm really good at swapping Stuffles. It was really fun with lovely young ladies swapping Stuffles. That's not an analogy for sex. I'm not getting any of that. And that's it for Tell Someone for this week. If you would like to ask me a question, that last one, that was a good question because it allowed me to sort of, it allowed me to sort of ramble off a bit and take up a bit more time while something, the answers to last week's dovetail question rolled across the screen. So that's it for Tell Someone for this week. If you would like to ask me a question, then ask me a question in the place below where the questions normally get asked, or the dovetail question over here is here for your question, answering urges and needs and wants and desires and hopes. So all those things I have ticked off on all the boxes and stuff. That's it for Tell Someone. I'm Dangerously Talented and I don't have a cool sign off. I'm full. But it won't stop me! Ow!